Have you ever stopped to wonder how many of your decisions were truly yours? How many times in your life you thought you were acting out of free will, but in reality, invisible hands were guiding you, pushing you, bending you toward a choice that benefited someone else? Manipulation is not a rare event. It is not something that happens only in movies or to naive people. It is an invisible shadow that walks beside you every single day. At work, in relationships, in family conversations, in politics, in the media you consume. Manipulation is everywhere, and the frightening part is that most people never notice when it happens. Manipulators do not announce themselves. They do not arrive with chains in their hands. Instead, they arrive with smiles, with words that sound comforting, with gestures that seem innocent. They speak softly, they look you in the eyes, and they plant seeds in your mind. Seeds that will later grow into doubt, guilt, fear. By the time you realize what happened, the decision is already made, the damage already done. You walked into the trap by yourself, believing it was your own path. That is the genius of manipulation. It steals your freedom without you noticing the theft. But manipulation is not magic. It is a science. It follows patterns, uses specific tools, and exploits weaknesses that exist in all of us. The first step to protecting yourself is to understand that no one is immune. The strongest minds, the most confident people, the most educated professionals, all can fall victim when a manipulator knows which button to press. The only real defense is awareness. To see the game while it is being played. To notice the strings before you start dancing like a puppet. Think about the last time you left a conversation feeling guilty, even though you had done nothing wrong. Think about the last time someone's silence felt like a punishment. Think about the last time you said yes, not because you wanted to, but because you were afraid of saying no. These are not coincidences. These are traces of manipulation. The invisible fingerprints left behind by someone who knows how to bend others to their will. The manipulator has many weapons. Gaslighting, for example, is one of the most dangerous. Imagine being told over and over again that what you saw did not happen, that what you remember is wrong, that your emotions are exaggerated. Slowly, your confidence crumbles. You start doubting your own mind. And when you no longer trust yourself, you have no choice but to trust the manipulator. It is like erasing the compass of a traveler. Once they lose direction, they will follow whoever pretends to know the way. There is also guilt. Few tools are as powerful as guilt. After everything I've done for you, you owe me this. If you really loved me, you would do that. Suddenly, you are not making a decision based on logic, or freedom, or fairness. You are making a decision because you feel indebted. Because the manipulator has placed the weight of responsibility on your shoulders. A weight that was never yours to carry. And what about love bombing? At first, it feels wonderful. Someone showers you with attention, affection, compliments. They give you more love than you thought possible. You feel chosen, special, elevated. But then, without warning, they take it all away. The compliments turn to criticism. The affection turns cold. And now you are trapped in a cycle, desperately trying to win back the love that once felt so overwhelming. It is not love, it is a leash. And every time you chase it, the manipulator pulls harder. Silence can also be a weapon. Some manipulators do not argue. They simply disappear into silence, leaving you in agony. You wonder what you did wrong. You replay every word in your mind, every gesture. You beg for communication. But the silence continues, punishing you, forcing you to take the blame, even when you have no reason to. Silence, in the hands of a manipulator, is louder than any scream. False authority is another mask they wear. They act as if they know more, deserve more, are more. They speak with certainty, even when they have no evidence. And because human beings are wired to respect authority, we believe them. Confidence becomes a weapon. The more secure they look, the more we surrender our judgment. And once again, the decision is no longer ours. Urgency and pressure are perhaps the most common tricks of all. You need to decide right now. This offer is only available today. If you don't act immediately, you'll lose everything. They don't give you time to think, because thinking is dangerous for them. Thought breaks illusions. Thought sees through lies. But under pressure, the brain panics, and panic is fertile ground for manipulation. The truth is, manipulators are not extraordinary geniuses. They simply know human psychology. They know that people fear rejection, that we crave approval, that we avoid conflict, that we are uncomfortable with silence. They know that, deep inside, most of us would rather obey than face disapproval. And so they pull those strings again and again, until obedience feels like the only option. But here's the secret. Once you see the strings, you cannot unsee them. Once you name the weapon, it loses half its power. Awareness is the shield. When someone tries to make you doubt your memory, you stop and think, this is When someone tries to bury you in guilt, you recognize, this is emotional blackmail. When someone creates urgency, you breathe and say, if it requires panic, it is not for me. Naming is reclaiming. Protecting yourself from manipulation is not about fighting harder. It is about standing still. It is about refusing to be pushed into the emotional storm. When they expect you to react with fear, you respond with calm. When they demand justification, you stay silent. When they try to twist your emotions, you return to your reality, anchors, your notes, your evidence, your trusted perspective outside the manipulator's reach. The less you react, the weaker their power becomes. Because manipulators survive on reaction. Your storm feeds their control. Your stillness starves it. In practical life, it looks like this. In a toxic relationship, when someone says, if you loved me, you would do this, you breathe and respond. Love is not measured by obedience. In the workplace, when a boss pressures you with false urgency, you answer, if you need rushed work. Tell me which quality should be sacrificed. With family or friends, when they say, after all I've done for you, you calmly reply, I appreciate you, but this choice is mine. Simple, firm, unshaken. But beyond these daily defenses, there is a deeper truth you need to understand. Manipulation doesn't just steal your choices. It steals your identity. Every time you obey without realizing, a piece of yourself disappears. And if this continues for years, you wake up one day in a cage, a prison without bars. A prison where the walls are built not by chains, but by your own silence, your own obedience, your own fear. This is why protecting yourself is not selfish. It is survival. If you do not guard your mind, someone else will own it. If you do not defend your choices, someone else will write your story. And the most terrifying manipulators in history did not use violence. They used words. They shaped beliefs. They controlled perceptions. They rewrote reality until millions obeyed, convinced it was their own will. But here lies the hope. Manipulation only works when you remain asleep. The moment you awaken, the illusion shatters. You begin to see the tricks. You notice the patterns. You recognize the guilt traps, the urgency tricks, the silent punishments. And once you recognize them, you are free. The strings may still be there, but they no longer move you. From now on, every time you feel that invisible weight, stop and ask yourself, whose voice am I hearing? Is this guilt mine, or was it planted? Is this fear real, or is it a tool? Is this urgency true, or is it a trick? By questioning, you cut the strings. By refusing to react, you protect your power. And by walking away when necessary, you send the strongest message of all. You cannot control me. The greatest weapon you will ever carry against manipulation is a single word. A word so small, yet so powerful, it terrifies every manipulator. That word is no. Spoken calmly, without guilt, without apology. No is the shield that saves you from the invisible cage. No is the declaration that your life belongs to you. So guard your mind. Protect your heart. Be awake, because in a world full of hidden hands, awareness is your greatest weapon. And if this message opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Subscribe, so you never walk alone in this journey of truth. Because knowledge is protection, and the more people awaken, the weaker the manipulators become. The time to protect yourself is now. The choice is yours.